How do you become a fundable business in day one from starting your business? Look, this is the difference between you getting optimal capital and not. What I mean by that is that if you want to get more approvals, better terms, and more money in your approvals, then you need to become fundable. And this is like the formula that lenders and credit issuers and the computers and the bureaus and everybody's really looking at. So what you want to do is set up your business where you are fundable from day one. By the way, many of these things you may be well set up months or years ago and not have right. And when you do that, what happens is you flip the script. And here's what I mean by that. When you flip the script, lenders chase you. This is how we get pre-screened offers. It's why they email us and they call us and they mail us. They want to lend to us versus us chasing them. So how do you get them to chase you and you not chase them? You got to set up your business where it's fundable from day one. I'm going to teach you how to do it right now in this training. We got a lot to cover, so let's dive in. So what I mean by credible, lendable, fundable is this. Lenders and credit issuers have a secret formula they use to approve you. And what happens is when you apply, their computers are looking at all of this information and they're making a determination, oftentimes in seconds, on whether or not you meet the criteria or not. Now, obviously, if you don't, you typically get that dreaded message that you'll hear from by mail in 7 to 10 days, and it's usually in denial. But if you get approved, well, then you usually get approved right away, and even there soon after have access to your money. So what we want is we want automated approvals, not denials. The other thing that being fundable means is it means that when lenders are trying to determine who to solicit to lend money to, then they are finding people that are fundable. They are finding the fundable businesses, and those are the ones they spend money on to be able to email you, to call you, or to direct mail you because you are the one they want to lend to. This is so important. So many business owners are out there trying to get money, but they're not focusing on becoming the borrower lenders want to lend money to. And when you are in that scenario, lenders do not want to lend you money. So they will either not lend you money or maybe equally as worse, give you money, but a short term, a high interest rate, a high payment. So they really rake you over the coals with what could be nearly predatory lending terms just because they know you're desperate and you are not who they want to lend to. You don't want to be on that side of it. So that's why fundability matters so much. Now, what is a fundable business? Well, there's really 5 pillars. And in this, I'm not going to go through all 5. That's about an hour or an hour and a half discussion. By the way, you can go to youtube.com/credit suite, search fundability, and you'll see I do detailed training that goes through all 5 aspects. We also have challenges like our business credit building challenge where we walk through all 5 aspects of fundability as well. Okay, what we want to talk about now is the one most important pillar from when you launch your business. So I was actually in a meeting the other day with some executives from Dun & Bradstreet, and this is exactly what they asked me about our fundability scores. They said, hey, how do you weigh your fundability score? And we said, well, the foundation has the heaviest weight because it is the thing that lenders and credit issuers are looking at the most right out the gate. And that's where you and I need to start. We need to start with what's called the foundation pillar of fundability. The foundation pillar is how you set your business up the right way right out the gate. Now, I almost guarantee if your business is already set up, you missed one of these crucial facts. I'm going to help you get it fixed right now. But if you haven't launched your business yet, man, this is like a step-by-step formula on how to do it the right way. So first of all, you need to avoid high-risk industries. If you are seen as a high-risk industry, it is really hard to get credit, really hard to get financing, really hard to get business credit scores. It triggers audits from the IRS. It triggers higher insurance premiums. It's a mess. So here's what you need to do. You need to go to NAICS.com, NAICS.com. At the top, there's a search, and you can search what you think your industry is, such as software, and it will give you like a long list of options you can choose from. Find the best description that fits your business. So if you are a software publisher, then now you want to be a software publisher. And if the NAICS is 513110 on that, well, then that is your NAICS code. Now, the next thing is you want to go search high-risk NAICS codes, and you'll find 2 main results. The first one is a list from NAICS.com themselves about high-risk industries. The second is a very detailed blog post from Credit Suite teaching you everything about how to avoid high-risk industries. Make sure that the industry you're chosen is not high risk. keep in mind, sometimes you could be in multiple industries, right? If you look at Credit Suite, we're big on financial education. We are also big on helping business owners get capital, financial services. We also have software, Fundability, that helps you through this whole process. So you could see us as any of those three industries. We choose to be software because it gives us the best multiple when we go to exit, and it also puts us in a low risk category. So you have options. You want to choose a NAICS code in an industry that means you are not high risk. You want to make sure the IRS has that when you file taxes. You want to make sure the business credit reporting agencies have that. Make sure it's correct on your actual business credit reports. You need to make sure when you open your business bank account that you tell them your actual number, your NAICS code, and the exact definition of NAICS, software publisher, and the number that goes with it, right? And then whenever you apply for a loan and credit line, same thing. When it asks your industry, you want to say, hey, I'm a software publisher. Here's my NAICS code. Give them the exact number so there's no question of the industry that you are in. You also need to make sure that the name of your business does not reflect that you are in a high-risk industry. So if you see that being a pawn shop is high risk, you probably don't want to put pawn in your name, for example. That's probably a bad example because if you're a pawn shop, you're only a pawn shop, but you get the idea, right? If I'm a software company and being an educational company is high risk, I don't want to put something about that in my name. So we want to have a name that does not reflect that we're in high risk. Now, what I like to do is make up a word, okay? Credit Suite we chose for a particular reason. But if I'm launching a new business, I'm choosing something that doesn't mean anything. So for example, one of the businesses I own is called Wentworth Price. Never used that entity for anything, but Wentworth Price doesn't mean anything. Nobody's going to see that name and think that I'm in a particular industry. So you could choose a neutral name. You could choose a name that reflects your industry. Just make sure the name doesn't reflect you're in a high-risk industry. Next, we need to have a phone number for the business. We want to make sure that phone number is toll-free. We want to get our phone number listed in online directories like Google My Business, Yellow Pages listings, on our social media page as well, even with 411. So we want to have our phone number. We want to have it listed. We also want to have a real business address, not a home address, not a UPS address, a PO box, an iPostal, none of that. We either want to get a real physical location or we want to go to Alliance Virtual Offices. And Alliance Virtual Offices will basically rent us for not a lot of money a virtual office, which is different than a digital mailbox. iPostal, $10 a month, it's a digital mailbox. Like there's no physical location for iPostal besides like places that have mailboxes. We want to have a real building. When we Google that address, we want to see like a big high-rise building in Tampa, Florida, for example. That's a credible address. And that will show lenders and credit issuers that our business operates in this like really high-end commercial or retail space. Gives us a ton of credibility. Their computers are looking at that address and making that determination right away. We want to have a professional website. If you don't have this, go to profitlifter.com. Profitlifter.com, it's $97 to get like a website that's better than like 90% of your competitors. And it reflects what you do. It's professional and it's AI driven. So it takes a very short period of time to be able to have the website up and running with Profit Lifter and to be able to continue to have content like blog content added. And get a professional email address that goes with it. So for example, my website is creditsuite.com. My email address is info@creditsuite.com. You don't want to use Yahoo or AOL or any of those kind of emails. You want to have your URL for your website be the same as your email and then add like info in front of it, and that's your professional email address. The next thing you want to do is have a license for your business. Now, you can usually get this based on your state, based on your county, based on your industry, a lot of different options. Here in Tampa, where I live, I can go to my county and get like a business tax receipt, they call it. It's a license here in Florida that just shows I'm an operating business. It's very cheap and easy to get, and it shows that I'm a legitimate, credible business. Look, if I go to build business credit, sources like Granger will give me a $2,500 credit line just because I have a business license. That's how much credibility a license gives us. So I'd like to have a license, and whenever I'm applying for credit or financing, I like to submit that license. It's just one more layer of credibility. Then we want to set up a business bank account after we've set up our entity and got our EIN. So set up our entity with our Secretary of State. I don't need to pay a company to do this. I've had people tell me they're going to pay $1,000 for a company to set up the entity. That's crazy. In Florida, we call it SunBiz. I can go to sunbiz.org and set up my own entity on there in 10 minutes or less. You can do it. You just have to go to your state's Secretary of State. Google it, state secretary, set up a new business Montana, set up a new business Florida. Go to the Secretary of State, set it up. You can do it on your own. You don't have to pay a company to do that. Okay, it's very cheap and easy to do. How much it costs you depends on the state. California, $600. Florida, $60, right? A difference depending on what the price is at that given time in the state. But it's very easy to do. Set up an LLC or a corporation. They give you the most credibility. Doesn't matter if you're a C Corp or an S Corp. I'm not an accountant. This is an accounting advice. But a lot of business owners start as an S Corp, and as their business gets bigger, they convert to a C Corp. Go to the IRS and get an EIN. You don't have to physically go there. You can go to irs.gov and get your EIN 100% for free. And then I can go set up my business bank account. They're going to ask for my entity setup papers. Usually I have an option of getting them right now or having them mailed. I always get them right now so I can set up my bank account. And then I go in, take my EIN, and I'm able to set up a bank account with like $50 in it. Set that up right away. Many credit scores are linked to how long you've had your bank account open. Your bank rating, for example, Check Systems has its own credit score. So you want to make sure you have your bank account open as soon as you can get it. I mean, like, I go through and get these things in order, then I set up my entity, I get my EIN, I go right to my bank and set up that business bank account. And 6 months into your business, you're able to get revenue lending and other kind of financing just because you have consistent revenue going into that business bank account. So make sure that you take those steps. If you've done those things, congratulations, you've actually set up your business where it's fundable. You have a fundable foundation. Now, if you've done these things correctly as we've mapped out, now you can start building business credit, start getting a lot of approvals without personal guarantee, without personal credit check. You can use that business credit to fuel your business. And then it's going to continue to be easier and easier to get loans and credit lines because now your business is fundable. You add a DUNS number on top of it with Dun & Bradstreet, which you should get, and start building some business credit. Now you are really fundable where lenders and credit issuers are going to start to chase you down incessantly. I mean, to a point where you're like, shaking them off with a stick, and that's what we want to see. So there you have it. That is how you launch a fundable business right out the gate. If you want more information on this, you can go to creditsuite.com/fundability, maybe, I think that's right. And that'll take you to our step-by-step mini course. You can also go to creditsuite.com/EIN, and that will give you our step-by-step guide for successfully building business credit. Oh, and that was my video just cut out. So that means I am done because I just killed my camera battery. So there you have it. If you got value from this training, make sure you like it, subscribe, and keep your eye out for our next training. We talk about more cool ways to get the money you need to start and grow your business.